Well, it's 5 o'clock and Chris is on a timeline, and so we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody who's here. Welcome staff and press. I'd like to begin the meeting with an opening ceremony and a pledge of allegiance, and Councilman Drake's dogged us. And so I'll go ahead and offer that. Would everyone please rise and salute the flag? Follow me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father in heaven, Father, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to attend the city council meeting tonight. We're grateful for the council who's taking time out of their schedule to put time on behalf of the city. Grateful this night for the staff and for the good work that they do, and ask that would continue to bless them and keep them safe, Father. Father, we appreciate all the many blessings that bestows upon this community. We're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy and grateful for the men and women who have made sacrifices on our behalf. We ask a special blessing to be with our troops and our leaders this day, that they would be able to be safe, keep them well fed, Father, and keep them on the track. We're grateful again for all that was given us, and say these things humbly in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, communications and appearances. Anybody want to talk to the council on an item not on the agenda? Seeing none. Conflicts and disclosures. Anybody got any conflicts and disclosures they'd like to state? Conflict interests? Seeing none, we'll move into the working agenda. We do have a public hearing tonight. This is a public hearing to receive public input regarding amending Santa Clara City subdivision fees and annexation fee. Corey, you leading this?
Yes, this request comes from staff to increase a couple fees in our development fees. The first one is staff recommends a fee increase for annexations from $500 to $1,000. This will help cover the staff time and cover the cost of advertising. An annexation requires a notice of to the paper for 3 consecutive weeks, so there's some cost involved there, and then of course Bob's time for researching the annexation and all the different paperwork required to send it to up north and all that. So
And then the inspection fee.
and then also the other request is staff recommends an increase to subdivision fee from 1% to 2% to cover the subdivision costs for inspection services. Right now we're at 1%. This is 1% of the total engineered cost for our inspector to go out and do subdivision inspections. Like Desert Village Townhomes, phase 1, I think Fred went out there from September to now, like 78 inspections he's done, performed. So this is just an increase to cover our costs.
And 2% brings us in line with the other cities
It does.
in Washington County. Okay. Council, any questions for Corey before I open the public hearing?
Is the proposed annexation amount consistent with the other cities as well?
It is.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Corey.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and open the meeting open the public hearing. Ask anyone who has come to address this item, give them the opportunity to come to the mic. Full house tonight. Okay, seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, if you would, I'd like to go down to item C1 under general business. This is consider amending the Santa Clara City subdivision fees and annexation fee and approve resolution 2021-07R. This is the item that we just held the public hearing on. Is there any questions for the staff or additional discussion on this item, council? If not, then I would look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution 2021-07R as presented by Corey Bundy.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Wendell, second by Lena. Any question on that motion? This is a resolution, roll call vote. Lena?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
You guys have it and motion passes. I don't know if I introduced anybody tonight. So I'm going to go back and I'm Mayor Rick Rosenberg, in case you didn't know. We have present tonight 3 members of the city council, Councilwoman Lena Mathis, Councilman Jarrett Waite, and Councilman Wendell Goobler. We've excused Councilman Denny Drake and Councilman Ben Shakespeare. They were unable to be here tonight, so we've excused them. So sorry about that. Okay, back to the agenda. Item 5B is a consent agenda. We have the claims and minutes from the February 24th, 2021 regular city council meeting, the March 3rd city council work meeting, and the claims through March 10th, 2020. For the calendar, we've got a meeting again on the 24th, and then a work meeting on April 7th and regular city council meeting on April 14th. Council, is there any questions regarding the consent agenda?
I just wanted to note that I read through the minutes on March 3rd about all the discussion on fiber internet, and I felt like our person that does our minutes did a great job summarizing that. A fairly technical discussion, and it was done very well.
Great.
And with that, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Go ahead.
Second.
Is that a second? Got a motion by Jarrett and a second by Lena to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any question on that motion? This is a money item with the claims. So roll call vote. Lena?
Aye.
Jarrett?
Aye.
Wendell?
Aye.
Consent agenda passes. Thank you, council. Item C2, consider approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Washington County regarding election services. Chris?
So you have before you, can you pull that up on the screen? The interlocal cooperative cooperation agreement regarding election services. As before, we are going with the county. We had discussed it in prior council meetings and it was agreed to go ahead and let the county run the elections again. They do a great job every year for us. They have the equipment. They are very knowledgeable. They have the experience, and they run all the county elections for all the different cities. So they are efficient and they can conduct the elections well. So I did have Matt review the agreement and he was okay with it. So we just need an approval. It doesn't have to have a resolution, and we just need an approval of a motion to approve the agreement to run the elections for this year.
And this is really similar to the ones we've done in the past,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yes.
Council, any questions for Chris on the,
I've got a question. In the future, will we continue to have mail-in ballots or will they go back to the way we were doing it before?
I haven't heard, as of right now, it's gonna stay that way for this year for sure, but we'll just have to see. There's other alternatives, or thinking about 2 other ones. I don't have all the information on those yet. But for sure this year it will be mail-in, but we can look at something later if something else is offered.
I'm not necessarily talking about this year. I'm talking about future elections, national elections. I
Yeah,
have a hard time with mail-in ballots.
I can see it going back to the other way, but I don't know for a fact, you know.
Okay. But this doesn't have anything of effect with that, right?
Yeah,
Something that will be,
it's just for this year?
Yeah.
So it'd be
Just for
the
this year.
municipal election that's
Yeah.
happening this year.
and we will still have, you can come in and vote in person too here, just like we've done before with
You
the
have the
mail-in.
option.
Yeah, so we will have it here in the banquet room. So
Okay.
that will be available.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Chris, council? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement with Washington County.
I can make that motion. I move that we approve the interlocal cooperation agreement with Washington County regarding election services as presented.
Second,
Got a motion by Jarrett and a second by Lena to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement with Washington County regarding election services as presented. Any question on that motion, council? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, council. Thank you, Chris. Mayor and council reports. Lena,
Okay,
you saw the fair email.
I did see the fair email. And I will respond and let Susie know that we're not participating this year, unfortunately, due to time circumstances. But I do have a request on an item that's interrelated to that, which is the princess pageant. Normally our princess pageant is held in April or May, which in past years is time for us to have it completed prior to the fair. This year, with the change of the fair to April, it doesn't give us the opportunity to be able to do that. So the individuals that have done it in the past have made a request for this year only because of current circumstances. Lainey Levitt, who is currently the second attendant from our last election, I believe she's a senior at the high school. And so the request is and I don't know if it's allowed by our ordinance or what, would be to allow her to just be stated as their princess for this year, not have a pageant. So we wouldn't have either a first or second attendant. And then have her fulfill those responsibilities for this calendar year and then prepare to start next year's pageant much earlier so we have them in place by April for the fair. And I don't know that process bends over the pageant, so I'm not familiar with the process.
The fair is one of the big shows for the princess. The other is Swiss Days.
Right.
And so it would be nice. I can definitely see letting Lainey do it for the fair. It'd be nice if they could move up and maybe have the pageant. And I hate to maybe say during the summer or over the summer sometime, and then change the cycle. Instead of creating the princess in April or May and have them go to the following April, May, maybe they start in
August.
August, September, and then they're kick it
Follows
off
the
with
school
the
year, maybe.
Swiss Days and follow the school year with it.
Okay.
If you can just make that suggestion to her.
Okay.
Counselor, are you guys okay with Lainey representing us at the fair?
Yes.
She did a great job. So I think that'd be fine having her do that. And if she wanted, would the other two come back for the fair? Would be a question.
I don't know. We can certainly ask. They're both in college now, so I don't even know if they're actually here or not here, but we could certainly find out.
Just so she's not all by herself. Because they make them sing and all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay. I will pass the information along.
But I think if we can maybe change that cycle to follow the school year,
Mhm.
and she could have the pageant in after April, like in May, before school's out.
Yeah.
And then it'd be ready to go for September.
Okay.
Because they have the parades and some of the summer parades, Dixie
Right.
Roundup Parade.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in the fall. They'd want to be on the ground running in the fall.
All right. I'll make the recommendation.
Cool.
And then the only other things I have are just the final legislative updates. I think you've seen some of the emails that have come, but I can't hear myself talk, so I can just do that. Sorry. House Bill 98 passed. That was the local government building regulation bill, which will deal with permits and plan reviews. So Corey, I'm sure, is aware of that. But that did pass. One of the things that is in there is also design standards of some things that we can and can't do with some design standards. And then the single family modification, that was HB 82, that passed as well. That dealt with the ADUs and internal ADUs. So we might need to I know we allow that in our ordinances, but we might need to tweak a few of our ordinances to accommodate all the requirements that are in there. So we'll want to make sure we look at that. And then let me look at the rest of my notes. Chris is probably aware, but Senate Bill 201, which was the public notice amendments, passed, which basically removes a lot of the verbiage that we now have to publish in the newspaper. So that could be really good news for us. So we'll want to make sure we follow up because we'll probably have to change it. It was 198 pages, so I didn't read the whole thing. But you did? Okay. I do know that it pertained to budgets, land use regulation, and ordinances because they were all parts of the section that I read. And then the last one I read was the House Bill 409, which was the municipal county land use legislation. And that's where it required training for planning commission. That did pass as well. So going forward, our planning commission members are going to have 4 hours of training annually. For new members, one of those has to be the LUDMA training for Utah Code 109A, and they cannot perform any duty as a planning commissioner until they've completed that training. So
I think they're gonna do that at League of Cities next month. The LUDMA training, they typically do.
yes, they
have
do.
that, So,
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
And I think most of our training could probably be done with what the league has on their website. They're allowed to do that along with the Division of Real Estate too. So I think they can get some of that, most of it probably done through the website. One of the things they can also do is if they can attend all 12 planning commission meetings in a year, it counts as 1 hour towards their training. So that might be some incentive to make sure our planning commissioners are at every meeting. And then the city's requirement is we just have to track that annually, every calendar year for each planning commission member. So,
who's the secretary at Planning Commission? Corey, is it Selena?
Selena.
You need a mic, Corey. Hold your mic up. I think if you can get a tracking sheet somewhere to track their training so that everybody knows.
Yeah, we'll let them know the new requirements that they have to be. Now, I have a question on that. What about next planning commission? You're saying it's mandatory that they have,
When does it go effective, Lena?
60 days after the 5th of March. So it'd be
Okay.
like May 5th. I didn't see anything in the legislation that had a different date, so I'm assuming it's May 5th.
so if this conference is in April,
They could get all their training before May 5th if they went to the conference.
very good.
Because there's plenty of items that would, I think, count as planning commission training on
yeah.
that agenda. They would just have to go to
Yeah.
probably 4 different sessions at the conference.
Yeah.
And it's virtual, some of it's virtual. So as long as they
Mhm.
are
We
logged
just
in,
need to
then
get
we
them
should be able to do it.
registered.
Yeah, on the list of acceptable topics, I mean, it had everything. It had appeals and variances, conditional use permits, extractions, land use regulations. I mean, it had every property rights. It had everything on there.
We'll just need to follow up and get them signed up and registered and then make sure
Mhm.
they know when they need to be where or watching what.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Perfect. And I think that's all of my report.
Thank you. Jarrett?
I was just gonna ask on the princess pageant, do we need to worry about the scholarship money, how that's allocated if our princesses are doing an extra half year or so? Do we need to change something in the budget for that I don't know. I was just curious. If we're asking her to do extra, should we compensate somehow in the scholarship amount?
But
'Cause
if
don't they
you-
come back after they've spent it to get reimbursed? We could just make a
That'd be a
note.
good question for Ben.
Actually, I think they told me that they send the amounts directly to the school. The scholarship money, they actually send directly to the school. So I don't think they're coming back to request it. I believe.
But they have to know where they're going to school and
Correct.
all that.
Correct.
When you talk to, and I'm drawing a blank, the coordinator, The
Are you-
princess
Are you
court,
talking about Monica?
Monica. When you talk to her, ask her that question, what she thinks.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a very high dollar amount, but
No,
we want to be fair for sure.
be easy, yeah.
And then as far as a report, the only thing I had to report is I'm a member of the Dixie Sunshiners, which is, they're the Goodwill ambassadors of the chamber. And there's about 35 of us, mostly are business owners. I brought up fiber internet in St. George and Santa Clara and Ivans potentially, just to let them know, like, the decision is going to be in the hands of the council. So if you know any council members, just get in their ear if you think it's a good idea. And it was actually a little bit there. It's funny because we have a member of TDS, actually 2 members of TDS on that group, and a member employee of InfoWest, and they were very scared of the idea actually. So I think we'll have a little ways to go to explain kind of how the process works and to make sure that our local businesses will be fairly represented. So I know Charlene was on that, so I was just kind of surprised to get a little bit of pushback on it. The rest of the room was pretty excited about it, but those ISPs were a little bit nervous. And it really does come down to if we're going to be in competition or not with them, and we're not, but we just have to get over that hump somehow. I just thought that was something I'd pass on, and that's all that I have.
Thank you. Wendell?
Nothing to report.
Okay, I haven't had any meetings either. We did, I don't know if I've reported that we did sit down with the BLM, and we had a follow-up meeting last week with the BLM on the shooting range with Gloria Tibbetts and Keith Richtrip, and they're putting some mapping together. We asked for a consultant bid to do the tortoise surveys and the plant surveys that have to be done this spring. And so we've got that bid back, and we may bring that back to council in maybe at the next meeting and ask for some funding for that. I think that's all I had. Christelle, you're in the
All
big
good.
shoes. Everything okay?
Yep.
Everybody's on vacation. Anybody on the staff got something they need to report to council? We want to recognize Gary Hall here. First meeting representing, is it going to be Santa Clara Power Department? Okay, cool. Where's Dustin? Oh, that's right. He's on vacation too this week. So you got the boat, you got the whole thing. Okay.
I just wanted to let council know that we met with CHP with the county, and they are going to reduce the $250 per acre for subdivisions for the cost. They'll keep the 2% charge that we do on building permits, but on the subdivision portion, but the $250 an acre will go away. So, and then they asked us to, any development in Santa Clara City, have them come out and do a turtle review and see if there are any turtles on the property before it gets developed. So we're actively working on that.
Is there a cost for the turtle review?
They said no.
No, I
They
think
just wanted,
they'll come and do the walk and relocate the tortoise as part of the HCP program. They'll do that.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Chief? Nothing, everything's good? No crime at all? Awesome. Okay, we don't have an executive session tonight. So council, I just need a motion to adjourn, and that'll be a new record, I think.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Lena made the motion, Jarrett seconded it for the minutes. We're done. 5:24. Shaved 2 minutes off the old record.